On this note, let me once again reassure Nigerians that there is no going back on the deployment of the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, for voter accreditation.
Eventually, we have seen some kind of failures from the part of Inec, and even though they try to deny the fact that they failed to obey their own guideline, we will eventually continue to remind them. It is 2 months for the final declaration of the rightful winner. A lot of problems have happened since Bola Ahmed Tinubu became the president of Nigeria. But without fear and without doubt, some exposure have come out from the Chatham House. And again, this has proven that the world knows the truth, but will they implement the truth? That is the question. 2023 election, Inec failed as election exposes disenfranchisement, concerns and electoral controversies. Chatham House. I repeat again, Inec failed as election exposes disenfranchisement, concerns and electoral controversies. Chatham House. According to a report by the Royal Institute for International Affairs, Chatham House, Nigeria 2023 election results have put the issues of disenfranchisement in the spotlight, as despite having the largest electoral register in Africa with 93.4 million voters, only fewer than 25 million valid votes were counted. The incumbent All Progressive Congress (APC) party candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu received roughly 1/3 of the total vote, while his main challengers Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi garnered 7 million and 61 million votes respectively. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) faced logistical failures and controversies over the election result, indicating that the promised electoral reforms and lessons learned were not fully implemented. Voters experienced frustration due to widespread delayed opening of polling units, and thousands were disenfranchised amid violence and irregularities reported by election observers. Despite the significant budget allocated to the election, voter turnout was only 25.7%, the lowest recorded since Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999. This indicates how Nigeria politics and state institutions continue to exclude rather than include citizenships. The INEC use of technology, particularly the Bermuda Voter Accreditation System (BVAS), was only subject to criticism for its patchy deployment and failure to adhere to its own guidelines for transparent and real-time results transmission. The report ended by saying that INEC's performance has raised concerns about electoral integrity and accountability, as only 23% of the public had trust in the commission going into the election. To ensure Nigerians' path to recovery and stability, strict transparency and adherence to electoral laws and guidelines are crucial. The need for electoral reforms and measures to combat disenfranchisement and irregularities remain urgent to build public trust and promote inclusive democracy in Nigeria. All this thing I read is coming from the Chatham House, thanks to Parallel Facts for this very one. You see, I said this thing very, very well, and I will keep saying it, that the INEC failed in delivering the election they promised Nigeria. Till date, INEC has not given sure statistics on how they declared Bola Ahmed Tinubu the president of Nigeria. And a lot of things is already going wrong under our nose. A lot of things is already going wrong under our nose. And if it's not corrected, then we should be expecting a coup in Nigeria. A coup in Nigeria. Why do I say so? if we cannot respect democracy, then the truth of the matter is that the military have all the power to invade Nigeria, because it's more like we are playing the same military kind of government, but in a democracy way or in a democratic way. Let me take you to what I dropped in the morning for some of you that missed it. I said the court has orders that allow INEC to use any means it chooses to transmit results. This is the claim by INEC, Tinubu, and APC lawyers, that they have an order from the court that they can transmit the result. So Peter will be coming out to say that there were glitches, or there were no glitches, or INEC failed to produce the election they promised Nigeria, is a failure. But I remember that I outlined this thing, and thank you to Teddy Ejike for helping us to bring out these crucial points. Number one is that according to various provisions of Electoral Act, INEC has the liberty to publish, amend, and vary the mode of transmission of result after voting in an election. This liberty by INEC has been affirmed by Superior Court. INEC is in compliance with the law, did, prior to the 2023 general election, publish and gazetted regulations and guidelines for the conduct of election. INEC also published manual for the conduct of 2023 election. Note that till date, INEC have not updated or amended or varied the published regulation and guidelines or manuals for 2023 election. Above prove clearly that INEC refused to abide by its own regulations and guidelines in the conduct of presidential elections by refusing to transmit election results from the polling unit. The courts are right that INEC has wide powers to set the rules on how the election should be concluded or conducted. The courts are equally right that INEC are at liberty to change the rules prior to the election. It would have been wrong, therefore, for the court to tie INEC's hand in amending it through before any election. This is what they fail to understand. Tinubu APC lawyer failed to understand, and equally INEC lawyer. There are guidelines that should be provided before an election by the INEC. Nobody is forcing them. Nobody is helping them to provide the guidelines. It is them that provided the guidelines. And according to the guidelines that INEC provided, they said that strictly the beavers will be used. The IREV will be used. And what the court implied, and rightly so, is that during the election, INEC must follow its already published rules strictly. Its already published rules strictly. So what are the INEC rules? Stated that results will be published in real time to the IREV, and the beavers result will be cross-checked with the IREV results. That is, the paper result will be cross-checked with the IREV result to know if it is the same before it can be approved. Did INEC follow the results? So whatever that is coming from the Chatham House, we have lacked trust in the electoral system of Nigeria. It's more like every 4 years we're waiting for demolishment and for people to die. People who go out to vote are being killed, are being injured by thugs. This thing keeps playing out. It seems every election it grows from worst to worst. It grows from bad to worst. Every election. And whether they like it or not, justice will be served. Thanks for supporting the Future News. Peace.